Howdy, folks. Welcome. We are live. Let me fix the screen and get Travis in here real quick and get our names put where they're supposed to go. Welcome, folks. We have 10 people watching. Welcome to Tampa Bay WordPress St. Petersburg Meetup, our first one live stream. Getting the people in the right places here. Just a second. I couldn't do this before because we were already live. All right, so we have Jen Novak, uh, Elaine Simmons, Travis Lopez, and Jim True. And welcome to WordPress St. Petersburg. If you have made it out here tonight, there's 10 of you at least I see online watching us, hopefully. Our YouTube stream is about probably 30 to 45 seconds uh, delayed from what you guys actually see. So if you ask a question and we don't respond absolutely immediately, that's what's happening. Is that we're about 30 seconds before we can see what you're actually asking, or you may be looking at us and asking a question, and it's already happened 30 seconds in the past. So anyway, let's get started. I'm going to fire up our browser, our keynotes thingy, uh, and do that now. So. You are at our Ask Us Anything Crowdsourcing WordPress Support Workshop. This is WordPress St. Petersburg. Our website is wptampabay.org. We normally do our event. Oops, sorry, my screen went a little too fast there. Come on, there we go. We normally do our WordPress meetups on the first and third Tuesdays of the month. We used to do them at the Suncoast Developers Guild, but the Suncoast Developers Guild is currently not in session, so we're doing them live stream. Our meetup is meetup.com WordPress St. Petersburg. Our website again is wptampabay.org. From our website, we have links to our Slack chat, our Facebook group, and our meetups, all of our meetups across Tampa Bay. Our other meetups meet on Wednesday of the first week. Is Tampa, but they're not meeting right now because of the obvious COVID quarantine rules that we're sitting under. And Brandon is also not meeting right now. We will continue to have our meetups here on live stream for the month of April, and we're going to determine with May, depending on what happens. Right now, we're prepared to go ahead and live stream through April, May, and June, but we'll let you guys know as soon as we know. All right. So our upcoming meetups and events are at our calendar events on tampabay.org events. Our next stream this month in April 17th is You Stream, I Stream, We All Stream for live stream. Getting started with live streaming from home on a budget. We've got a fellow who jumped in to ask to help us with our live stream, but I'd already gotten this thing configured, and then he and I got into a chat, and we decided that this is probably a very pertinent time to do a talk on live streaming, because a lot of you folks are probably running into the same kind of issues we are, where you're sitting at home and you're trying to figure out how to keep your businesses going. So we'll be talking about one-on-one live streaming for like live chat for like small groups, conference calling, Zoom, pretty much everything. Talking about video, cameras, microphone selection, the whole bit. So this should be a very informative live stream, or yeah, an informative talk on live streaming. And that is April 17th. Again, in May, our first Tuesday of the month will be another Ask Us Anything. And then on May, the third Tuesday of the month in May, we'll be doing our Gutenberg or Bus talk. We'll be revisiting the block editor in WordPress. The last time we did a talk on Gutenberg, it was still in its formative stages. It had kind of like been out there and pushed everybody, but nobody liked it. And having taken some time to look at it again, I've kind of revised a lot of my opinions. So we're going to be doing a deep dive on Gutenberg in May for our scheduled talk, and on the third Tuesday of the month. In June, we will be doing a talk on creating secure web forms, prioritizing privacy best practices and what to avoid. Travis Lopez will be handling that one from Gravity Forms and for Gravity. This should be a very informative talk, especially dealing with like the GDPR and privacy practices and HIPAA and all that kind of good stuff. How to secure your site the best way for good web form practices. Okay, we are looking for speakers still. So we have like talks scheduled out through June We have a potential one for July, but I don't want to announce it yet. But we are definitely looking for speakers. So if you have experience in WordPress, web design, front end or back end, plugin reviews, theme reviews, anything pertinent to web design, please let us know. If you've never spoken in public before, there's no problem. This is a great place to do it. This is a safe space to do it. It's also great for your resume, your LinkedIn, or your Twitter feed. So definitely consider it. Go to our website,
And
WP. I'm sorry, Travis?
and it's even easier to do it now because you don't have to see your audience.
There you go. Exactly. Good point. Yeah, our speaker call is at wptampabay.org/speakers/call. All right, our code of conduct for tonight. I'm probably going to have to change this a little bit because it's kind of different. There's only the four of us actually speaking, so no one's actually going to be able to speak over anyone. So there are no stupid questions except the one you didn't ask. We're going to be pulling questions from the Meetup RSVP list first, and if anybody has asked a question in our chat on YouTube, definitely go ahead and do that. We can bring you right on in through there. If you ask a question on Facebook, we'll also be looking at that as well. So hopefully we'll try to answer all questions tonight. But so don't be quiet. I know you're out there. There are at least 9 of you out there. So definitely ask questions. We'll try to limit the questions to 10 or 15 minutes. We're not going to we're not going to discuss a question more than 15 minutes so that everyone has a chance to get their questions in. Any more than 15 minutes, and you should probably be hiring a consultant for that work. And this one doesn't really matter because it's just the 4 of us, but basically everyone gets to speak and no crosstalk. So don't be chatting over my call, okay? All right, guys. We are back at us again, so let's get started with the first question. Let me turn my browser back over here out of the full screen mode. And in our meetup, Jen, have you got yours up, or did I might? I've got to bounce. My screens are being a little slow, so.
What are you looking for?
The questions from Meetup.
Sure.
Yeah, I think. Oh wait, I got it. I'm good. Okay,
Okay.
so Melanie asked, not sure how to add a freebie pop-up, and not sure how to add a menu drop-down bar on your website. For that one, and specifically, I would say for a freebie pop-up. Do you guys ever use pop-up bars, Jen, Elaine, Travis?
Occasionally, yes.
Any you like?
I liked, I think it was called Privy.
Pretty?
Privy,
Okay.
P-R-I, hang on, let me find it.
Okay. When you find it, give me the link.
P-R-I-V-Y. Yes.
Privy?
Yes.
Privy.com?
Yes.
Okay, got it. I'm firing that up now. Jumpstart your e-commerce. So how does this one work? Product. Oh, so is this like an opt-in pop-up?
Yeah, so they had quite a few different options. So yeah, they had opt-in, they had exit intent. They've got a
Okay.
number of different options in there.
Okay. Yeah, I've used Opt-in Monster, but it's I think that's what it's called. But again, it's only like it's basically for opt-in lists. I'm trying to think what other kind of reasons you would be using a pop-up for. They were looking for a freebie pop-up though, so.
Yeah, this had free options. At
Okay.
one time it did, and I know within the last few months I looked at it and it still did. Oh yeah,
Okay.
there's a try Privy free.
Okay.
I'm not sure if that's a trial now or at one time it was they were free with stipulations. I think there was like certain modules you could use and maybe you might have had to have like a email mailing list that was smaller than a certain size or something. There was some type of stipulations.
Okay, so there was privy.com,
Mm-hmm.
and we said Opt-in Monster. Can you think of any, Travis?
I just
So
thought
I've been. Go ahead, Elaine.
Oh, go ahead, Elaine.
Subsistic has one.
Can you type that in the chat?
Yeah.
And I'll just pop it up on the screen. So optinmonster.com, privy.com, and I'll wait for Elaine's to pop up and we'll drop that one in there too. And as far as like a drop down menu bar, typically that's going to be theme related. So really want to look at a theme that actually has like a menu bar that floats down over the top. I use Generate Press, which is what you're meaning by that, Melanie, is a menu bar like we have on WordPress TampaBay.org, where you hover over and the menu pops down. That's a theme related item.
And now you can often just figure out if when you're creating your menu in WordPress, you just drag those menu items in to be nested,
Right.
and then you'll see very quickly when you view your site on the front end.
Yeah, I can show that real quick, I think, because I think we have that done on our WordPress Tampa Bay website. Like on here, how these little menus are floating up and they're doing a drop-down menu. These 4 items are actually nested in the menu. So if you go into Customize, and this is what Travis was talking about, if you go into the Customize screen, come on, web browser, don't be slow today. Okay, there we go. Some menus, and it would be your main menu, and you can see how these items are sub-menus. That's why they actually look out like that. So like events has the same thing. Okay? So going back.
And then as far as pop-ups are concerned, I've been using Ahoy a lot, AHOY,
Okay.
and they're more
Ahoy?
focused on like Ahoy, yeah. Like Ahoy is like hello, Ahoy. Ahoy,
Okay.
hoy.
Ahoy.com.
Useahoy.com.
Oh, useahoy.com. Okay, got it.
Mhm.
Use Ahoy.
And they focus more on like the kind of pop-ups you see in the bottom right-hand corner of the site. And they focus
Okay,
like a
I
lot
see it.
on conversion, so exit intent and stuff. But they also have a sister plugin that has been around longer and is more popular called Pop-Up Maker.
Oh, Pop-Up Maker. I've heard of Pop-Up Maker. So we have...
And Pop-Up Maker's native.
useahoy.com? And
then it's also wppopupmaker.com.
Thank you.
And they have a lot of integrations with things like with MailChimp and Aweber. They offer exit intent, Ajax login modals, pop-ups that show up based on when you scroll down the page.
Got it. Okay.
Even they have age gating pop-ups. So if you need to restrict content based on the age of the person
awesome.
viewing the site, they support that as well. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Joe actually popped up in our chat and asked a question. He said, "Hi everybody, Travis. What program are you using to keep yourself in focus but the background autofocus? And is there a certain setting for that?" That's actually in our Skype chat. Our chat windows, Joe, are actually being controlled through Skype on Ecamm Live through an NDI connection. So I can chat about this during our live stream talk in 2 weeks. And welcome, Joe. Thanks for dropping in. Okay, so we think we got Melanie's questions answered. What's our next one on the meetup? Let's see. So the next one up would be Eric Weaver asks, "Is there one place to look at all the uploaded files in WordPress?" So that would be your WP Contents, plugins, themes, and uploads. And that would be at your drive level. So like if you've got cPanel access to your actual server, you'd see that. Let me see if I can show you that on hang on. Trying to show you on the screen, I can't because my local screen is actually local, so I'd actually have to fire up a browser window, and then you're going to see Windows, and you're going to go, you're going to see a Mac window, and you're going to go, what is that thing? Never seen that before. But basically, if you have your hosting on like SiteGround or one of the others that has cPanel, you want to go into the file manager, and everything that is uploaded to like the media manager is actually going to be in the uploads folder under WP content. And then actually, you know what? I can type it on the screen. Ha ha ha. Or I can type it in our chat. WP content uploads. And come on, mister. Come on, chatty. It's taking its own sweet time. But yeah, it's underneath uploads, and then underneath themes is where your themes would go, and your plugins, when you install them, go underneath WP content plugins. Okay?
And you'll occasionally see an upgrade folder.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
You want to explain that one?
Well, the upgrade folder, I believe, is just for things during, like, in transition when WordPress is upgrading, right?
Got it.
Yeah.
I think you're right, yeah. So,
And then
WordPress is good about. Let me see if they explain that on where are things in the WordPress directory uploaded. Let me see if they give a good document there. Where does WordPress store images on your site? Oh, here we go. The Beginner's Guide to WordPress File and Directory Structure off WP Beginners. I know everyone. Sorry, but I always use this because it just works, and it'll be popping up on the screen in just a few seconds. So.
Unless you need to replace an existing file that's already in the media library, you should avoid going into the uploads folder, because if you delete a file from there, it will not be deleted in the WordPress media library. So you want to be very careful about that. You should try to make as many changes as possible directly through the media library.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay, so our next question.
Through the what library, Travis? What did you just say?
The media library.
The media library in WordPress. It's one of the options in the left-hand drop-down. I think it's just labeled media, not full media library.
Yeah, you're saying make the changes in the media library itself, not the uploads. Is that what you're saying? Okay.
Correct, because if you make any changes, like if you start deleting or moving files directly in the file system, those changes are not going to be reflected in the media library.
Yeah.
Cool.
I've seen those kind of errors where you think it's there, but it's not really there. Yeah.
Like the only time you want to wait into the file system would be to edit, replace an existing file that you don't want to or delete and re-upload because things are already linked to it. And then if you do that, you might want to pair with that a plugin like Regenerate Thumbnails. So if you were to upload a new image, Regenerate Thumbnails will regenerate all the different image sizes for that file.
Well, Leonard just actually said that, hi, I just got here. His question from Meetup is, I'd like to integrate Civic CRM or Civi CRM and BuddyPress with WordPress. I may need help. Yeah, you're definitely going to need help with that. Let me see, Civi CRM? I've never heard of that one. Oh, it's actually called Civi CRM. Huh.
Yeah, they do have a WordPress plugin that they develop themselves.
Okay. Oh, they do? Okay.
Yes.
Let me, WordPress plugin, Civi WordPress, Civi CRM. I will fire, oh, there it is. Here we go. I'll actually share this screen so that you can see that. Hey, Leonard, if you look at the screen right now, it's called civicrm.org/WordPress. Kind of explains all of their integration stuff. Now, as far as BuddyPress goes, that would be an entirely different other story. I am not experienced in BuddyPress whatsoever. So, and I can almost probably say that no one here on the screen is. But if you need help with BuddyPress, WordCamp Miami or WordPress Miami, David Bissett is an expert in BuddyPress. David Bissett. I'll actually type his name in the chat. All right. Not sure about BuddyPress if needed as well or not. Yeah, that's the question. I can't tell you that either, but David would be able to help you with that one. And I'm going to pop his name on the screen real quickly so that you know. And that's for BuddyPress, folks. Okay. So, looks like we have next question is from Brenda Dougherty. She asked, what plugins and steps do you take for site optimization?
Real quick, Jim.
Yeah.
Before we move on to that question, Leonard has a follow-up in the chat. He said he's not sure about BuddyPress, whether or not it's needed.
Yeah, that's a hard question because when it comes down to it, BuddyPress adds social features, for adding on social, kind of like your social profile pages and stuff in Facebook. So it's one of those kind of things where, let's see. Yeah, someone else just answered. Andy answered for you, Leonard. He goes, definitely not for a first-timer. Civic CRM is an awesome program. Let me see if I can find the fellow who hosted it for NGO I was with. He hosts and sets up. So, well, we're having people doing crosstalk over there in the chat window.
Oh, Jim.
I know. I'm just being funny. I can't control where people need to talk at. But yes, when BuddyPress is to add like additional profile like Facebook pages things to your individual users, and you may not need that with City CRM. So yeah,
I
and
think that depends less on your CRM and more what you're trying to do with your site.
yeah,
If you're
exactly.
trying to have
And
that social element or not.
yeah, and David might be able to help you with that one. Elaine actually just posted his Twitter handle in chat as well. I'll pop that on the Facebook screen or on our screen real fast so that everyone has that. Oh, Andy, you're fine. Don't worry about it. So, all right, we have one more question from Meetups. Uh, Brenda Dougherty asks, "What plugins and steps do you take for site optimization?" We did a
That's a
talk
really big
about.
question.
Yes, it is. Do you want to talk about why it's a really big question while I find the link?
Well, see, there's a lot of places to start. There's a lot of places to look. I mean, you're looking at the main things that people think of are your image optimization, but just because your images are so huge, so you want to like find a way to optimize images, and then making sure that you're not hosting video on your site. But I think, I mean, ultimately, it's a lot of just testing, making sure you're not using unnecessary plugins, that you're, when you're starting, even that your theme is a fairly streamlined and well-built theme, making sure your hosting is reputable hosting, making sure that they're using, the latest techniques and technology. So there's just so many components to that, that it's difficult to probably answer in just one. I mean, that's a whole other topic for a
Yeah.
well,
We did an actual
for a
talk on
meetup.
this. John Biddle did one, and I'm going to show it up on the screen right now. The talk is called "Improving WordPress Performance." Sorry, I'm on the wrong screen with my mouse. There we go. We have the talk actually recorded, and we have the slides as well. So if you still have questions after looking at that, definitely bring them back to us. Brenda, I see you're actually on our chat now, so if you have any
Hi,
follow-up
Brenda.
questions, feel free to ask it away, and we will be here to answer them as much as we can. So,
Because there's so much even in that you can do a deep dive on. Like image optimization
Yes.
can be like, how
oh
are you
God,
optimizing the image files themselves?
Yes.
How many are you putting on a page?
Yeah.
Are you lazy loading them? Are they on a CDN?
Yeah, and then there's also like your workflow process for because if you're doing a photography website, your photographer has one process they're doing for dropping their pictures, but then you've also got to like ramp them through the whole optimization thing. There's some really great
Yeah.
apps out there that are that run on the Mac at least called oh god, what's the name of it? It is XN Convert. I think it's XN Convert. That's one of them, but then there's also like one that just automatically notices when you drop a JPEG or a PNG or a PDF on your desktop, and it automatically starts optimizing it for your web.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, let me find both of those, then I'll get you the links for them. Do you want to look for the next question while I'm browsing?
I
over
can
here?
also say when we went to at WordCamp Miami, I think it was Kinsta that was giving away. They had a book about site optimization. I haven't quite read through the entire thing, but it looks like on their website they have some information. Now it looks like you might have to scroll through a little bit because some of it is why image optimization is important, which clearly it sounds like Brenda already understands why it's important. But it did look like they had some tips on there. I can drop that link in the
if you're on
YouTube
a Mac,
as well.
the app is actually called Image Optim, and they have a web service too, so you can actually sign up for a web service API to do it for you. So there's that one. That's the one I use because it automatically just drops when you drop a file on it. Just automatically optimizes it for you the minute you write the file out, and integrates with like Photoshop and everything automatically. It just does it. The other one was XN Convert, which I can't remember if that's Mac only or if it's everything. I think it's everything. Nope, Mac. Sorry, guys. I know there are ones for the PC too, though. So, all right. Let's see. We got a question here from Joe. Can anyone recommend? Let me see. Can anyone recommend a solution on sending a file around 4 GB in size? I usually use WeTransfer, but they limit it to 2 GB. Um, doesn't Dropbox
I just tried out P Cloud this week.
pCloud?
It's not exactly a transfer. You upload to a drive and they download the drive from the drive. Or we did it the opposite way.
Yeah, I mean, I use my Google Drive, but that's not ideal, I guess. Let's see. I know.
I'm wondering if it's compressed too. Is that already a zip file? The 4?
Boy, we're getting questions like crazy now.
I definitely. Dropbox has a 10 GB file size limit.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I could have sworn that they had something where you could use it for big file transfers, though. I could have sworn. No, I'm not saying.
Like the best way to go with big file transfers like that is to use Dropbox because they offer the feature with their Dropbox uploader for the user to select the file directly out of their Dropbox folder so that they don't have to upload it again.
Yeah.
So Joe says it's already zipped. So yeah, that I would follow Travis's advice on that.
Okay.
I like Dropbox.
Yeah, Brenda has a follow-up too on Smush Pro versus eWWW for images. Smush, I say no, but that's only because I've seen it run into issues with it's either in one of their jQuery libraries or something of that nature. It tends to conflict with a lot of other plugins. It's great the first time to optimize everything and to let you know what's broken, and then disable it and don't use it again. Now, granted, I've never used the Pro version, so I'm not sure if it's better or not. But I know for a fact that the Smush one, the regular Smush one, Smush It, definitely has conflicts almost every single time Yoast and some of the other ones get updated. eWWW, what is that one? I don't know that one. Let's see. eWWW, I don't know that one, so I can't tell you.
I've used that on the site. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, it was fairly had all the things I needed. I think there was some limitations to maybe how many files you could optimize before you had to do the paid upgrade. I can't remember what the
Smush does the same thing. They only do it for a certain
most
size.
of them will, just because it is so it's a lot of work to put in that.
Oh, and then you've got SG Optimizer versus Auto Optimize. SG Optimizer would be the SiteGround one, wouldn't it?
I would think so.
That
Yeah.
only works
They
on
have an
SiteGround.
optimizer.
Yeah. And that's going to be doing it, I think, that's their object caching, isn't it? Or is that something else?
Which SG?
Yeah, that's their dynamic.
They
that's
have
their
some
caching.
image optimization ability as well.
It has Super Cacher, Environment Optimization. Yeah, that's going to be very specific for SiteGround.
Right.
Yeah. I'm looking at the other one you had. You said auto optimize. Let me check again real quick on that one. So auto optimize. Let's see. I have never heard of this one. It's got 1 million active installations, updated 7 days ago, 4.5 stars.
And this one goes further than just images. It caches and minifies scripts. It changes how they're loaded.
Either. Yeah. Yeah, so auto optimizes does minifying your CSS, the whole bit. That's one of those kind of things where you would really have to test that, I think, Brenda, in a staging site to see what's going to work best for you. So,
especially if anything revolving around script and style, like minification and caching and changing the loading of it, because that can very, very easily break plugins.
Yep. So,
but going back to the ones that are now WordPress based, I have used Image Optim a lot, and I can definitely vouch for it. It's great even for doing things like SVGs on top of just regular images.
Now, did you find a WordPress plugin for that?
No, I just use it just directly on the Mac.
Oh, the Mac one, yeah, that's the same one I used too. Okay, so we have a question from Steve Comenzo. Brenda, let us know if that answered your question. So we'll see it pop up in our chat in a few bits. So Steve Comenzo asks, how scalable can a WooCommerce site be? I am looking at a project that could easily have 100,000 products easily. Well, that I'm going to have to route you to the fellow in Lakeland that runs WordPress Lakeland. I got to get his name real quick, so because I can't answer that question for you.
Except he
I would-
moved to St. Pete.
Yes, he's moving to St. Pete. I don't think he has moved yet.
Okay.
His name is. Hang on, member. That's linking up the name right now. He would be who I would route you to. His name is. Oh, come on now, be nice. His name is Rob Gelhausen. Here, I'm gonna actually zoom this page up a little bit, and I'll pop him up on the demo screen. He is on WordPress Meetup in Lakeland. This fella right here, Rob Gelhausen. Let's see if we can find his Twitter for you. He runs several WooCommerce sites, like a lot of them. I'm going to copy his Twitter into the screen, and we'll just go back that way. So, Steve, for that particular question, get in touch with this guy. And, yeah.
But just in general, the best route would probably be to go to one of the managed WordPress hosting providers out there that do have specialties in WooCommerce. There's several of them out there. They do good at like auto scaling up and optimizing everything appropriately for it.
Yeah. But if you want some good recommendations, I would definitely chat with him. He's done a talk at WordPress Tampa and went really in depth about it as well. We have a follow-up from Andy to you, Travis.
Yeah, Andy's saying, he says, are you saying that minifying CSS JavaScript files are subject to breaking themes? Normally, one would minify on the homepage, would one not? It's not necessarily about minifying CSS and JavaScript files in general. It's more about using these plugins that are doing that for all the styles and all the JavaScript files on the site, because they can very easily, when they're like minifying everything together, it can break the order that everything is loading in, which can then cause conflicts with plugins that are including scripts a certain way. It can even break something with your theme, because one of the like dependencies a script might be dependent on is not running in the proper order. So definitely, I would recommend always trying to do the minification yourself rather than using one of these plugins to do it. A lot of the big plugins out there that you would use, like a Gravity Forms, WooCommerce, Easy Digital Download, stuff like that, they do include minified style sheets and minified JavaScript files already that they're enqueuing.
Yep.
And with HTTP2, that I believe is getting it rolled out at a lot of hosts, you don't need to be necessarily concerned about compacting everything into one file, because HTTP2 can handle like concurrent requests a lot better.
And aren't most plugins actually, that's part of their process, the plugin itself is minifying its own files so that you don't have to do it at the overall site level?
Not all plugins do. Like a lot of the bigger ones and a lot of the well-built ones do. But you can't necessarily put that as a guarantee.
Gotcha.
That a plugin has minified, yeah.
Right. Well, I know like GeneratePress, which is my favorite theme, they do the minification of their own JavaScript and their own CSS and stuff like that. And they have they have an entire document just on optimizing GeneratePress for your website. And like you want to do it even more so than what's set up. And they definitely do not recommend auto-optimizing anybody else's plugins, but just their own. So, good answer. Good answer. I don't see any other questions. Was that it on the Meetup questions?
Yeah, that was all.
Okay, cool. Awesome. And let's see if we got any on our YouTube chat comments. I don't see any on Facebook. I don't think. Let me check. Nope. No Facebook comments. So, we're waiting on you guys. We've answered all the questions. So how are you guys? We'll start going off on a little chat here. How is everyone dealing with the current quarantine that we're all under at the moment? Have you found that it has impacted your business? Travis and I both work for Gravity Forms, so it has actually not impacted our business at all. We've actually been doing pretty good, so we're still getting lots of.
And I can say, so independently, I have For Gravity, which is a plugin shop that does Gravity Forms extensions, and we've actually seen growth. Like, we did our best numbers last month, even.
Wow! Congratulations.
Maybe it's because people are stuck at home.
Yeah.
Probably.
And they're having to build
Good
stuff.
time to do some marketing.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
Well,
definitely,
there was,
I've noticed.
Oh, go ahead, Travis. Go ahead.
I've noticed a lot. One of our products is being able to generate PDFs off of Gravity Forms form submissions, and there are a lot of people in the medical space looking to generate PDFs.
Perfect sense.
Wow.
Yeah, I had one come in today actually that was asking for a way to input information into a form and feeding it into several different forms. So yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. I saw one on what do you call it? Oh goodness, there was a business. Someone had basically respun their business on NPR, and they were a restaurant, a bakery, and they were losing a lot of business. And what they ended up doing was completely revamping, because they had a very good website, and they basically took, instead of farming out to all of these bite squads and Uber and everything else, they turned their own business into a bite squad delivery ordering service for all of the other local restaurants.
Huh.
And that allowed people to keep in business too.
Nice.
The one
And some
downside.
of their employees.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead, Travis.
The one downside to a spike in medical-related customers is everybody's suddenly asking, "Hey, are you HIPAA compliant?"
Yeah.
Which has led to me having to rush off to Ryan Guinea, who's a privacy legal expert, to be like, "Hey, am I HIPAA compliant?"
There you go. So, looking for questions. There we go. Here comes one.
Big thanks to Steve in the chat, who said he just switched over to Gravity Forms last night. And
there we go. Steve Grizzo just switched over. Woohoo!
Shout out to Steve for helping keep the lights on.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys can see the YouTube or not, but as their questions come through, they pop up on the screen. I pop their comments up. So
a new question in here from Greg, who asks, "Can Gravity Forms data easily be added to custom post types?" And absolutely it can.
Yes.
So Gravity Forms with the Elite Tier license has an advanced post creation add-on, and that will allow you to create posts against any registered post type on your site. And you can map to any taxonomies that are on the site. You can control the status of the post, whether it's public or private, the date of when it's published, who the author is, anything related to a post you can control with that add-on. It's very easy to set up and use.
Yeah. And if you're looking for a free plugin to do it, there are two. There is Gravity Forms Plus Custom Post Types. It's by the folks that wrote Gravity Perks. It works with the post type field, or the post fields in Gravity Forms, to work the same way. And if you are working with Pods to do your custom post types and fields and stuff, Pods has a Pods Gravity Forms add-on that also does the same type of thing, but it only works specifically with Pods custom post types, text, and relationship fields. So let's see. We got a greetings everyone from Tuggy. Greetings. And Greg comes back with an excellent thanks much. All right. So we are currently out of questions, but we're at 14 viewers. Nice.
Oh.
Sound off, people. Let's see if we know who they all are. Gonna do a check-in, a roll call. Okay, I kind of like and I kind of hate the new Meetup interface, because it does a sticky at the top and a sticky at the bottom. It's very annoying. You're welcome, Greg.
The big problem with Meetup is the roll the dice. You play every page load as to whether you're going to get the new interface or the old interface.
Well, hopefully it's all of the new interface now, but you never know. Like if I go to event check-in, I bet you it's going to be old interface.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. So we know Andy's here, so we're going to check him in. We know Brenda's here. We heard her. Hey, Dan, you out there? We know Elaine's here. Jen's here. Jim's here. Leonard's here. I don't know if Rick's out there or not. We haven't heard him yet. Advanced custom fields versus pods versus MetaBox Go. That's a hard one, Steve, honestly, because it really all depends on your level of expertise. ACF is only custom fields. You cannot create custom post types or taxonomies or register user meta or I take that back. Yes, I'm sorry. You can extend users and you can extend taxonomy, I think, with ACF, but all you're doing is creating fields. They have a great interface for it, but all of your output is somebody's not muted, I don't think, because I'm hearing you back in through my headphones. So someone's listening to something, and because I just heard myself re-speaking. Which caught. ACF is for someone who really does know their PHP, because you're not going to be able to use it to get your output on the screen without using PHP, unless you're using like Beaver Themer or dynamic, the dynamic fields in Elementor Pro and probably Divi Builder. I think Divi Builder only works with ACF. As far as Metabox goes, Metabox is very powerful. I mean very powerful. But again, it's all very much coder based. It's all very much developer based. It's almost very much PHP based. There's very little of it that you can do without touching code. Pods, you do the entire thing without code. And the one thing Pods has going for it is the relationship fields. We handle relationships probably better than anybody else other than Metabox. Metabox does relationships the same way we do. Pods does, because I keep forgetting I'm community support at Pods, and I'm paid support at Gravity Forms, so I have to keep getting used to my we and our pronouns there. But anyway, Pods framework is pretty powerful. It's missing a couple of features that ACF has, like the repeating loop fields and groups fields and stuff like that, and filled groups. The next version of Pods coming out will be adding filled groups, and once you have that, you've actually got repeating loop fields, because Pods already actually has the actual structure for repeating loop fields. They're called relationships. So the problem with ACF and the way they store them is that they write all of that into meta at the one record key level. So if you want to grab information about multiple different records, like if you've got invoice line items, and let's say you're actually doing like invoices, and these are invoice line items, all of those invoice line items are written at the invoice key level for the group package, and you have to read through all of those to find out which inventory items might be included in those invoice line items. It's not very conducive to a very large data set, and Pods definitely is. Metabox also definitely is, because they also work with external tables. Steve, let us know if that answered your question. And if you have any additional... Oh, go ahead, Travis. Sorry.
I don't build sites as frequently anymore, but I'm personally a fan of CMB too. It's always been pretty reliable, and that's another code-based one. I'm the type that I don't like crucial things like that to be able to be managed in the interface, because you might like have a client that somehow gets their way in and they start messing with the setup and they break everything. So like I personally like to keep as much of my stuff in code as possible, so it's been helpful for me.
Well, it also depends on if you're planning on turning the site over to someone else and not supporting it after the fact. Anytime you're in the situation of that kind of a picture, you want to write something that more people can actually access. So that's kind of how I look at it too. The CMB, again, is also only fields. It does not register the post type. It does not register the taxonomy. Pods is the only one out of that set, I think, except for Metabox. I think Metabox, you have to buy the extra plugins to do custom post types, custom fields, custom taxonomies, etc. Okay, so we have Dave is also here. Gotcha, Dave. Welcome, Dave Pearson. We haven't seen you in a while. All right. Any questions? Yeah, we're waiting for questions at this point, guys. We're at 7:14. How are you liking this format, by the way? How are you liking this format, Elaine, Jen, and Travis?
I didn't have to drive an hour and a half down to St. Pete, so this format is excellent.
Okay, there we go. That's a good answer. Oh, here we go. Andy's got another question popping up in a minute. I gotta wait for it to pop up. There it is. Hate to dominate questions, but you guys are such a great resource. So Gutenberg and page builders, very confusing, at least for me. Love to hear your comments how you're dealing with that. When it comes down to it, I I'm not a fan of page builders at all. I really am not. I believe in focusing solely on content and handling all of your handling of that content through the theme, so that your end users never, ever, ever have to deal with anything like that. Because I love how all of these things like Elementor and all of them sit there and say, "Ooh, don't mess up your site by letting your clients mess up the site." But it's like, I'm sorry, you've given them everything they need to mess up the site because you've put it front and center. How are they not going to mess it up?
And by using a page builder, you have such a big dependency because you can never really switch away from that page builder.
Exactly.
And personally, I'm of the viewpoint that Gutenberg is also a page builder.
Yeah.
It's also
Yeah,
not great.
it is, but honestly, when it comes down to it, I'm feeling a little less ugly about it, because at least with the Generate blocks, the one I've been playing with Generate Press, there's a plugin that the fellow who made Generate Press, he wrote his own version of Generate blocks, and it's 4 blocks, and they all work really well together, but they work really good with the theme too, because he focuses more along the lines of, you've got a grid and you needed to design things behind the grid, and it should honestly all be contained within that container object so that it's really easy to get rid of. So as far as I guess for me playing with it, it's nice to be able to create my own content blocks, like a call to action, and then save that as a reusable block and then put it in other parts of the website throughout. That's nice. It's nice to be able to create like a button style for my client and have them be able to just quickly change the URL on or something like that. Those kind of things are really nice. The editor's not too bad.
I think a key question you have to like sit down when you're deciding what to go with for one of these projects is, what is one of these page builders offering that Gutenberg doesn't?
Yeah.
Because for the majority of the things you're implementing with these page builders, which tend to be for most people like grids and maybe like fancy like image placement, Gutenberg can handle that. And by using Gutenberg, it gives you much more flexibility on what you can do with your site moving forward, what themes you can switch to, integrations with other plugins.
I do like the fact that they're being able to pop into a 3-column or a 2-column view, which a lot of people just need to do suddenly in the middle of a document page. Being able to do that is really nice because it is responsive, so that is good. I would hope that whatever grid styling that they're putting out there as part of Gutenberg is actually available to the themes to be inherited upon. Because if they're not, and we're propagating hundreds of different grids and hundreds of different column handling, then I would say, yuck, that's a horrible thing.
I believe WordPress is in queuing that on the front end as well. Then I guess would be up to the theme if they want to de-enqueue that and roll their own.
Gotcha. Huh. Okay. So let's see. That was the question. As far as the builders go, like I personally, Divi Builder's the worst. Just right off the bat. Divi, blech, horrible. Because once you go Divi, you can't go to anything else. You absolutely cannot. If you're going to go Divi, you're stuck there. As far as the like Elementor versus Beaver Builder seems to be more WordPress supported as far as like writing in a WordPress proper way, because if I turn off Beaver Builder, my website's not going to crash. If I turn off Elementor, I'm not going to have any content there at all. And that's the same thing that would happen with Divi. If I turned off Divi, my content would be a stream of 1,000 million short codes. So that's a big no-no for me. We've got a new
The nice
question here.
thing about some of
Go
them
ahead, Jen.
is that there are communities built around them, so that if you have a question, you can find someone who has probably run into that issue before. So if you use some of the more common ones, you'll probably find a community. So for my clients, because I've had clients who've come off of no builder, no page builder, and prior to that, I don't know who made their site, but it was just chaos in the background because of the way that it was made. And when you do get one that has a builder on it, even if it's not a builder that I would have personally chosen, it's either easier to update if they just want updates, or if I need to move it to another builder, I can do that. I can find resources to move it to a different builder. So it really, to me, it just depends on what you're looking for. I think it's just a matter of, if you want to use a builder, finding a builder that makes sense to you, a builder that is reliable, a builder that has a community built around it, and one that, as Jim was saying, that if you want to move away from it, you can.
Yeah. One thing I can definitely say for sure, from the people I've listened to that have popped onto the Pods forums and on the Pod Slack chat, the support turnaround from Element Mentor sucks. The support from Beaver Builder and Beaver Themer is amazing. That matters. So. Oh my gosh, Rick says he's watching us on a 55-inch TV.
Oh, I don't know that I want to see that.
Yeah.
I'm scared to turn mine on.
Too
I'm good with
awesome.
my iPad.
Yeah. Yeah, Greg says Elementor has 4 million installs and a great community. They have a great community, but their support sucks. I can tell you that. Thanks, Greg. And
But even though there's 4 million installs and there's a great community, you are still locked in to using Elementor.
Yeah. Makes it really hard to switch to something else. And I don't know how, with those builders, how do you lock your users out of messing up your pages? That's my biggest question with those. I guess I could ask.
Just as easy. To me, it's just as easy for them to mess anything else up.
Yeah, exactly. When I've looked at them, it seems very easy for them to mess everything up. So.
Well, even without it, I mean, to me, it's just a matter of, hey, here's things you don't want to touch. If you do, here's resources. Make sure you take a backup before you touch anything.
Well,
but I do that with anything.
Editors. I only make my users editors, but I give them admin access, but it's on a separate email account, so that they know not to log in with that one instead. When they're editors, that should restrict what they're able to do, and that's kind of how I managed. Whenever I turned over sites, I made all of my users editors, and that way they weren't able to do massively horrible things. So,
and I
don't
come
know how
from
Elementor or Beaver Builder work with that. So, go ahead, Travis.
I haven't been doing like freaking client website builds since like 2015, so like things have changed since then. Yeah. That was always the beauty of using like meta boxes, was just like on this page you can, or this post type, you can go and edit and put in this specific kinds of data.
Yeah.
And you don't get control over the styling, but it's going to come out exactly how it should, and you can't mess it up.
Yeah, that's how I've always believed too, is that you treat them, because the main WordPress page, even the main editor, when they were doing posts, always looked the same way. So when they would go to a custom post type or something with additional content, you would just let them go to those particular things and fill out the form, and then you determine where all the content spread out to. And it's your job as the designer to take their content and come up with a content strategy and design the website around that content strategy so that items are in a consistent place. If you let them go haywire with design, they are going to go haywire with design, and they're going to have flashy lights and disco balls and, all that kind of stuff.
And then they're going to come to you and be like, why doesn't this look like what you designed for me? Well,
I didn't put disco balls in it. Honest.
I don't know. As long as they paid me, that's on them. I've forewarned them. Don't touch this. Let me know if you need to fix something.
Too funny.
But it's their site. I feel like if they paid for it, it's their site. They should be able to. If they want disco balls and dancing babies, like, hey, I'm gonna get my screenshots for my portfolio before then. But
I don't have corona, but I've got to sneeze. I'm waiting for it to sneeze. Come on, I know it's there. I have allergies. That's the worst thing about being in Florida. Everyone thinks you've got corona when all you have is allergies.
Oh yes.
But you don't know if you do or not.
And then you start wondering yourself, like, wait a minute.
Exactly.
Does anybody know anyone with corona?
No, not yet. Thank God. I would. Yeah, I just really don't want to know that right now. That hit me this week. Was that with the numbers we're dealing with? Is that we're all going to know someone.
It's inevitable.
And that, it's inevitable, especially with the numbers going over the entire country. And that is just where I'm at right now. And either I can play Pollyanna and just try to not think about it, or,
one of us on this call might actually have it right now.
Try this.
We don't know it.
Possibly.
So, but it's true. We could. Yeah, because we couldn't even know. We might even have it and not even know we have it. That's the worst thing about it. So, dancing babies, you're aging yourself, Andy said. Cute. All right, folks. Questions. I know you're out there. I can see you. I can feel you. Where? Calling someone. See, that's the one I don't like, is I don't have my list of people. So I can't sit there and ask them, hey, you haven't asked a question yet, but you're watching. Ask! So one thing great I love about being in person with you guys, I can look at you all around the room and catch you in your eye and go, hey, you haven't asked a question yet. So, let's see, who hasn't asked a question yet? Rick, you haven't asked a question yet. Dave, you haven't asked a question yet. Let's see. Oh,
You haven't asked a question, Jim. Do you have any questions for us?
No, not really. I mean, honestly, it's kind of fun. It's like I'm loving the fact of getting to chat with you guys again. It's kind of nice. As long as you guys enjoy this format, I'm perfectly fine doing this again. And that was the other kind of question I wanted to ask was like, do you guys want to do this more often than just twice a month? That would be the other question.
Oh, I think twice a month is good.
Okay. Steve and Joe, if you're out there, are you guys planning on doing this in Tampa, or do you want to do this in Tampa?
On
we
the
have
spot.
a meetup in 2 weeks.
Whoa.
To help you out with that. Oh, here we go. Shout out to the group from Dave. I'm waiting for it to show up so I can pop it on the screen.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
that was a
shout out
great
to this
recommendation.
group. I had an issue with site health check and troubleshooting plugin. Let me know the problem. Thanks to a past meeting. Aw, thanks, guy. Yeah, I love that plugin. It's one of my absolute favorite things, and it's my first recommendation when people have a problem, because they always blame the plugin. I turned on Gravity Forms, my website broke, or I turned on Pods or updated Pods, and my entire website broke. It's like, well, it probably wasn't just that. It might have been something else. So, go to site health. Disable everything, go into troubleshooting mode, which the nice thing about site health and troubleshooting mode is that troubleshooting mode makes sure that you don't impact your users, so you can turn on things and turn off things and its own little memory space and see what happens. So it's highly worth it. Too funny. Rick has been taking pictures of him watching this on a 55-inch TV. Too funny. Yeah, Andy loves the format. So, in 2 weeks, we're going to be doing a pretty in-depth talk on live streaming. We're going to be showing off several, I use Ecamm Live, and I'll, since we're here and nobody's asking any questions, I will show you guys what kind of a nightmare my desktop is at the moment. My control center here. Let me see, I got to find out where to do it at. Live demo mode, there we go. Okay. Yes. Do not show this message again. Turn on live demo mode. So I am currently going to be broadcasting to the YouTube and everybody out there the nightmare that is my screen. This is what the current scene that I'm looking at that we're broadcasting out with. Here's your comments. Here's the 4 of us over here in Skype. And then over here is my Slack chat for questions. We have our sound levels on my mic and stuff. I've got our configuration for the screens and overlays, and then scenes and stuff and our camera. So it's like I said, this is like my control center in front of me. It's kind of frightening. So there's a new question that I just popped up on the mic. I'm going to go back into our regular thing again, and should be out of that now. Okay. Steve asks, caching and CDN plugin recommendations. There's one from Delicious Brains. It depends on the CDN you're using, I guess. Most people use Cloudflare. Delicious Brains has one called the WP Offload Media and WP Offload SES. I'm going to put up on the screen over here. These two little guys right here, I highly recommend their other plugins quite well, so I know these two particular items work quite well with Amazon S3 and stuff like that. So if that's
SCS is just an email
yeah
plugin.
Yeah. So
I would say ideally, if you could, find a host that handles that for you. Like I just switched to Pagely recently, and they just do it right out of the box.
there you go.
I don't even have to
That's
say
right.
anything else.
We use them for at Gravity Forms too, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And that's pagely.com?
Yes.
Okay. It's popping up.
Their
and I'll
plans
drop it on
start at $199 a month.
which is not bad. I mean, that's what I pay. I pay $100 a month for my local by Flywheel, my freelance account. So, yeah. How many plugins are too many, is asked by Steve. Honestly, it really depends on what you're doing, but I start getting a little freaked out when I'm over 25. You just need to really look at what you're doing, what they're doing. Are you using some plugins that kind of like are doing dual work? That, are they kind of like, do both of these do the same thing or not? That kind of thing.
Yeah, the proper question there isn't how many plugins are too many, it's what plugins are you running. Because if the plugin is well built, you could have 500 enabled, and as long as they are hooking in to WordPress when they are supposed to actually run, and not just run and hooking in like right at the start and running all the time, you'll be fine.
Yeah. Quite true.
Which kind of comes back to the whole site optimization question.
Yeah. And if you're ever worried about how kind of things are running, Query Monitor is a very good plugin for that, to determine which ones are doing what on what pages and stuff like that. And that's
not even just that; it's very good for highlighting PHP warnings, notices, errors, even errors that happen in AJAX requests on your site.
Yeah, I'm gonna pop it on the screen real quick, and I'll also drop it on chat as well for you guys, so you can see that. And I think what I'm going to do is I will cut and paste all the links we did in this chat and throw them into the YouTube description afterwards too, because we'll probably when we edit, we might actually start editing these Ask Us Anythings up and pop them on the thing. It might work. We'll see. My dog is saying howdy. Yes, I see you down there too. So that's the nice thing about being here at home, is I have my pup with me. That's kind of cool.
Greg's asking a follow-up question here. Is there a way to know what active plugins are not being used? And I guess it kind of depends on the plugin in some senses, but if it's a database-heavy or a plugin that interacts with the database often, you could use something like Query Monitor to see if any database calls happening on the page are happening from that plugin. You can kind of deduce like if it's being used from there. But I think you really just want to sit down and take a look at what is set up on your site. And that'd honestly be the best way to know if an active plugin is being used.
So Rick is kind of giving us a little dissertation here. He says, my aha moment was how page builders changed the way we think about information on a page. Previously, we would dedicate each page to a particular topic, home, about, etc. Now, with blocks and page builders, we need to think of data in paragraphs, and then we arrange the blocks of data on the appropriate pages. It's an entirely different perspective, more granular content. I would say that, honestly, you need to start thinking about content strategy, because when it comes down to it, it's not just blocks, it's what those blocks are doing. And that's what I'm going to cover in our Gutenberger bus talk in May, is very much that, about how to think about your content in that sense that you're doing Lego blocks, yes, but this set of Lego blocks are repeatable, and this set of Lego blocks is this particular kind of content, and this little Lego blocks over here are that kind of stuff. So let's see. Elaine asks, what's a good resource to learn Cloudflare better than what I know it now? Well, Elaine, how do you know it now? Or what do you use it for now?
I am using it, and they send me notices about how much bandwidth has been used. I try to block certain countries for spam reasons, but it's I know it does a whole lot of stuff, and I have no idea how to learn it better. I'm on some free program, so.
Yeah. I've only used it on the free version, and I've only used it for DNS primarily.
Yeah.
I've never used it for dynamic caching and all that kind of stuff. So, someone is breathing into the mic, and I cannot hear you. That actually was Elaine, I think. Elaine's on a phone, so. But yeah, Elaine, as far as Cloudflare goes, I'm not really sure as far as like a good, maybe on, let me see if LinkedIn Learning has anything on Cloudflare. Nope. Sorry. Sorry, Jim, I didn't hear a word you said. You're 30 seconds behind me, so I can't tell you for sure. Is anyone else having an issue hearing sound? Because I can mute us right now and I can listen to my TV real quick. So give me a second.
Why don't you do that? Why don't you do that?
I just listened to the broadcast and we sound fine. There's some competing background noise.
Sounds
okay.
like someone's laptop fan, possibly.
Yeah, it's probably a laptop fan. Okay.
It's the air conditioning.
Oh, Elaine's
Here.
air conditioning. She didn't want to sweat to death. Leave her alone. Sounds like Darth Vader. No, none of us are breathing in our mics like that, so it couldn't be us. Well, I'm not seeing any additional questions, so at this point, we're at 7:30. Any questions, guys? Any more questions? Going once. Going twice.
I got a question.
Sure, Travis, go ahead.
How's everyone holding up?
Doing good. Doing good. This is the first week I've actually, last weekend, this past weekend and this week, I've decided to not leave the house except to walk the dog in the morning. So, yeah.
Wait, so you're saying no fish and chips on Friday?
No, I will do that. I will do that. Unless, unless our death count goes up by like 500 this week. So,
X.
Yeah.
So where are we meeting after this meeting?
Oh yeah.
Are we going to Three Daughters? We going to Three
I guess
Daughters?
We really can't, Yeah, we normally go out to get something to drink after. I guess we could stay on and have a drink. I have one in the fridge right now cooling.
Nice.
That's how many people have actually taken to drinking more now that they have been part of the quarantine crowd, and you don't have to drive around as much. I will have to say that yes, I have taken to drinking a little bit more often than I used to. So, how many people have started
eating
fitness?
actually a lot healthier?
You have? Good. Cooking at
Yes, because I'm cooking at home more.
Yeah, same here. Yeah, I'm actually balancing that pretty well. That was my biggest thing, was I was doing the takeout Tuesday, but I was doing it every day to try to support the restaurants around us. And I was not only was it costing a lot, but the worst part was with trash. There was so much trash. Because when like all of the takeout containers and everything else, it's like, I'm not used to taking that much trash out a week, so that was mine. I'm used to leaving it at the restaurant. So that was a big one for me. COVID cocktails. Good one, Brady.
Yes.
Yeah. Next time we do this, we might end up doing it on Zoom just to try a different little format. And if we do that, then we'll bring all of you in. We can chat and talk to you. No such thing as a happy hour anymore. It's happy day. Good idea. Yeah. So, all right, guys.
I will say, having been someone that's worked from home this whole time, doesn't feel like any different.
No.
It does for me a bit, just because it's a little more stir crazy.
I think this week it started to feel different for me.
It's been feeling different for me for the last... Does it feel like this month has been going on forever?
Yes.
Like we've been doing this for months now, and it's really only been a couple of weeks. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's for
maybe
me
it's just a little different out here, like being in the suburbs, and like we didn't have, like, I know St. Pete had like a lockdown order, or not a lockdown order, but a safe at home order. We didn't up here.
Yeah.
But even so, like being like in the suburbs and not like in the
Where's
city,
Winnie?
nothing's walkable. So
Yeah, Winnie, we were trying to. We knew that we didn't want to have to deal with folks having to like deal with their microphones and video cameras, and having to mute everybody and all that kind of stuff. And we also didn't have a Zoom account. And in order to do one of these kind of things where we can conference in a whole bunch of people at once, you have to have a Zoom account. So that's the primary reason we didn't use Zoom for this one. And I'm actually doing pretty good. As long as you guys can hear us, that was the main thing I was most concerned about. Zoom does have a stream to YouTube and Facebook option, but again, it requires a premium account. So, trying to keep our costs down here.
We can use mine.
Yeah, it's true. We can use yours. So we will try that. I'm more concerned about being able to kind of like, you know, make sure we're not doing crosstalk again. I'm not sure on like a scheduled talk if it makes sense. Like for like when we're doing just a regular discussion. Because that's my main thing is that when you've got like 20 heads on the screen, how's that going to impact being able to do the regular discussion that we're having?
Yeah.
But we can talk about it, definitely. So, Zoom is meant for conferencing. It's not really meant for talk show type stuff. So Zoom also.
and I say it seems to me that like the video quality is much higher on Skype than Zoom.
Yeah, it is. So. Well, we will discuss it, Rick. We'll try it out next month. We'll see. Okay.
Y'all, I will say just a little plug in. Make sure you like this video if you're watching.
Oh yeah, like and subscribe.
And subscribe.
Yeah, exactly. Do the whole YouTube thingy. Yeah, I mean our end cap video that I'm going to pop off.
Smash that like button.
Smash that like button. Subscribe to us. Click the little bell icon to make sure you're notified for any kind of updates. Everyone's over there in our chat window just discussing Zoom. So, yeah, with all of the Zoom bombing, I don't really want to use Zoom, okay? I don't want to see anybody's nudity screens popping up on it. Have anyone been hacked yet with that? Or have you had any Zoom bombs on your particular conference calls? So,
I haven't had an issue yet.
That's good to hear.
Thank goodness.
The schools have been having a lot. So that's the worst one.
It's probably the other kids, though.
No, actually, they said it was like it's been like hate groups and stuff like that, hate speech.
Oh no,
it's been
that's
really
awful.
ugly. They've been discussing it on NPR quite a bit this week.
That's awful.
Yeah. So.
I've been looking at like what some other options are. Whereby doesn't seem too bad. Like even the business plan at like $60 a month. It's unlimited
60
users.
Is a lot. 60 is a lot.
Yeah, but it gives you like 10 meeting rooms, and each person also has their own private meeting room. Recording is included with it. You can have branded rooms, a custom domain. It integrates with Google Drive, YouTube, and Trello.
Screen. Yeah, because we've gotten 10 likes, so there's definitely a like button there. You're looking at the TV.
There's 11.
Yeah, 11 likes. So yeah.
Look at us go. 2 more people. There's 13 watching. We need 2 more likes.
Yeah, some other things like that. We're going to be looking at a couple of them. There's a handful that are very specifically designed for like this kind of interview podcast conferencing type thing. So we will definitely.
I think one cool thing that like Whereby
TV. Yeah, go ahead. Whereby.
One cool thing that like Whereby has on like Zoom, which I think is like a really useful feature, is you can do like floating emoji reactions in a meeting. So you can like give something a thumbs up without having to.
Well, like all of these little things we're doing right now, where we're popping the comments over the screen. None of that's available in Zoom. There's no way to keep a chat window that is. I mean, there is a chat feature in Zoom, but to integrate it with your YouTube stream, no. Being able to do any kind of like branding of any kind, no, not possible in Zoom. So. And most of our stuff is still going to YouTube after this in a presentation way. So that's kind of what we're talking about when we're doing the live stream discussion, is trying to monetize your feed at the other end of this. So we'll be talking about both kinds of that at the live stream talk we do later this month. So I think we're not getting other questions at this point. So I think we're going to go ahead and end the stream. Thank you guys for coming out tonight. I really do appreciate it, especially for our first time doing this. I think we actually got a lot of good questions, which was really nice. And we're getting some good little messages out here. Thanks, folks. Got to sign off. You're fantastic. Stay safe out there. Stronger together. And yeah. Joe's is.
Except in this case, we are stronger alone.
It's exactly. Strong alone. Stay home. Stay safe. Stay apart from each other. But yeah, Joe is going to be my cohort for the streaming video in 2 weeks, and we'll be going over several different things like that. So, but anyway, thank you for coming out again tonight. We're going to throw off our end cap now, and that will be it. Have a wonderful, wonderful week, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you for watching our recorded session from WordPress St. Pete Meetup. We meet twice a month on the first and third Tuesdays in downtown St. Pete at the Suncoast Developers Guild. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up on YouTube and be sure to subscribe and click the bell to be notified when new videos are added. Find out more about WordPress St. Petersburg at our website at wptampabay.org.